The rain fell in thick, heavy curtains over Lagos that Thursday evening. The kind that turned Third Mainland Bridge into a slow-moving river of red tail lights and muffled horns. But inside the cramped two-bedroom flat in Yaba that Veronica Okafor and Mercy Adeyemi had shared for 3 years, the air was electric with something far warmer than the storm outside. Mercy, come and see this. Veronica was sitting cross-legged on the floor, her long, silky black wig pushed behind both ears, her laptop balanced on her thighs, and a half-eaten plate of jollof rice cooling beside her. Her eyes were wide, the kind of wide that didn't come from fear, but from the terrifying beauty of a brand new idea. Mercy emerged from the bathroom, unwrapping a towel from her head and reaching instinctively for the long burgundy wig on its stand near the dresser. She settled it over her braids with the practiced ease of someone who had worn it so long it had become a second identity. Bold, rich, commanding. She padded over in her house slippers and peered at the screen.
What am I looking at?
A gap, Veronica said. A massive gap in the market. On the screen was a spreadsheet, color-coded, obsessively detailed, the kind only Veronica could build. She had spent 6 months quietly researching the Nigerian beauty and lifestyle subscription box industry. What she had found was both obvious and invisible, the way the best business ideas always are. Nigerian women between 25 and 45 were spending a fortune buying premium skincare, small batch local cosmetics, artisanal hair care, and cultural fashion accessories. But they were buying everything separately, from scattered Instagram pages with inconsistent delivery, zero curation, and almost no brand loyalty being built. Nobody had bundled it. Nobody had made it feel luxurious. Nobody had made a Nigerian woman feel like she was receiving a gift every single month. Something chosen specifically for her. Something that said, you are seen. You are celebrated. You are worth this. I want to call it a Box, Veronica said, her voice dropping to the reverent tone people use in church. Asha, culture, heritage, refinement. A monthly subscription box for Nigerian women who have taste and the income to match it. Tier 1, mid-range. Tier 2, premium. We partner with local brands. We negotiate bulk rates. We build an email list. We launch a waitlist campaign on Instagram and TikTok.
Veronica.
Mercy sat down slowly on the floor beside her. She was quiet for a moment, looking at the screen, then at her friend's face. That brilliant, burning face she had known since their second year at the University of Lagos, when Veronica had sat next to her in a business strategy lecture and immediately began correcting the professor under her breath. This is actually genius, Mercy said. Veronica exhaled like she had been holding her breath for months. I know. They laughed, the long, giddy, slightly hysterical laugh of two women who had been broke and dreaming for just long enough to recognize the real thing when it arrived. What followed were 6 of the most alive months of both their lives. Veronica was the architect. She built everything from the foundation up. The brand identity, the pricing tiers, the supplier outreach strategy, the financial projections, the subscriber retention model. She spent nights she should have slept drafting pitch decks and cold emails to local skincare founders and Asoke weavers and candle makers walking out of their kitchens in Surulere and Ikeja. She had a gift for seeing systems where others saw chaos, for finding the elegant structure hidden inside a complicated problem. Mercy was the face. This was the agreement they reached naturally, without ever sitting down to formally negotiate it, which would later prove to be their first and most fatal mistake. Mercy had what Veronica, who was honest about herself to a fault, privately acknowledged she did not: presence. When Mercy walked into a room with that burgundy wig sitting perfectly on her shoulders and her posture like she had been told the room was built for her, people leaned in. She had a voice made for convincing, smooth and warm and certain, like a financial advisor who also happened to be your most glamorous friend. She began posting for Asha Box before they even had a product. Something is coming for the girls who know their worth. The wait list hit 400 names in 11 days. They registered the business under both names: Asha Box Limited. Directors: Veronica Nkechi Okafo, Mercy Adunola Adeyemi. Or so Veronica believed. In the chaos of launches and supplier calls and content schedules and their regular jobs, Veronica in data analytics at a consultancy firm, Mercy in corporate communications at a bank, Veronica had drafted the CAC registration documents and sent them to Mercy to file because Mercy's cousin worked at the Corporate Affairs Commission and had promised to fast-track the process. Veronica had been so deep in the product side that she had never gone back to verify the filed certificate herself. Mercy had filed it. She had simply filed it under one name: hers. Whether it was intentional in that moment or merely a careless error she recognized later and chose not to correct, that question would haunt Veronica for years. But the seed of what would become a calculated betrayal was planted quietly in an administrative detail on an otherwise ordinary afternoon. By month 7, Asha Box had 1,200 paying subscribers. By month 10, they were at 3,800. A lifestyle magazine ran a feature: the two Lagos women redefining what it means to celebrate Nigerian femininity. The photograph showed them both, Mercy's burgundy wig catching the studio light like a crown, Veronica's black wig sleek and sharp beside her, both of them laughing, both of them luminous. Veronica kept that magazine on her bedside table. Investors began to call. It was a venture capital firm, Ejire Capital, one of the more aggressive Lagos-based funds with a reputation for moving fast and valuing strong, that sent the first serious email. They had seen the numbers. They wanted a meeting. Veronica spent 2 weeks building the pitch deck. It was extraordinary. The kind of document that told not just a business story, but a cultural one, weaving together data on Nigeria's growing middle-class female consumer, the global rise of heritage-centered lifestyle brands, and a 5-year expansion roadmap that extended into Accra, Nairobi, and London. She sent it to Mercy the night before their scheduled review session, with a long voice note explaining each slide. Mercy listened to the voice note on her commute. She read the deck 3 times. Then, very quietly, she began to make her own plans. The morning of the investor meeting, Veronica woke up with a headache she couldn't shake. She dressed carefully. Her silky black wig pinned back with a gold clip, a structured blazer in deep green, her best heels. She felt the particular mix of terror and readiness that she had come to associate with the moment that mattered. She sent Mercy a message at 7 a.m. Ready? Meet you at the lobby at 9:30. The response came 47 minutes later. V, I'm so sorry. Something urgent came up with my mom. I'm on my way to Ibadan. Please go ahead. You know the deck better than anyone. You'll be amazing. Fill me in after. Veronica stared at the message for a long time. Then she picked up her bag, straightened her blazer, and went alone. The meeting with Ejire Capital lasted 2 hours and 20 minutes. The partners asked sharp questions, and Veronica answered every single one with the fluency of someone who had built the answers into her bones. When she walked out of the glass building in Victoria Island, one of the partners, a compact, watchful woman named Miss Alabi, shook her hand and said, "We'll be in touch very soon." Veronica called Mercy immediately. The phone rang out. She called again. And again. When Mercy finally called back that evening, her voice was warm and breezy and full of apologies about her mother's health. And she asked 3 questions about the meeting that all sounded like the right questions, but that Veronica, who would replay this conversation in her memory many times in the months to come, would later realize were not questions at all. They were confirmations. Mercy was checking what the investors had been told. She was confirming what Veronica didn't yet know she was about to lose. The evening after the investor meeting, Veronica sat at her desk in the flat they still shared and looked at the framed photo she had pinned above her laptop. The 2 of them at their very first pop-up market. A folding table draped in Ankara print. 12 boxes sold in 4 hours. Both of them so happy they had cried in the car on the way home. She touched the edge of the frame. She did not know yet that the meeting she had just walked out of would be the last time she represented Ashabox. She did not know yet that in 10 days, Mercy would take a second meeting with Ejire Capital, alone. She did not know yet that the CAC certificate, the one she had drafted and trusted and never verified, had only one name on it. But the storm, like the one still rolling over Lagos that night, was already on its way. The email from Ejire Capital arrived on a Tuesday morning, the kind of bright, cloudless Lagos Tuesday that makes the city feel like it is performing optimism specifically for you. Veronica was at her desk at the consultancy when her phone buzzed. She saw the subject line, Ashabox, term sheet enclosed, and had to press her hand flat against her chest for a full 3 seconds before she could open it. The number inside the email made her vision blur at the edges. 180 million naira. Seed funding for 22% equity, with a clause for a follow-on round contingent on hitting 10,000 subscribers by month 18, a target Veronica had already quietly projected they would reach by month 15. Her hands were trembling as she forwarded it to Mercy with a single line. Mercy, Mercy, look at this. We did it. Call me now. Mercy's reply came 11 minutes later. I saw it already. They copied me too. So proud of us, babe. Let's talk tonight. I'm in back-to-back meetings. Veronica frowned at the screen. They copied me too. She scrolled up to the original email. The recipients were her own address. And she had not noticed this at first, had gone straight to Mercy's email. She had not known Mercy had a separate business email under that domain. She had set up her own, v.okafor@asaboxng.com, and assumed Mercy was still using her personal Gmail for Asabox correspondence the way she had been for months. When did that change? They met that evening at the kitchen table with a bottle of cheap champagne Mercy had stopped to buy on her way home. The same brand they had drunk the night they got their 100th subscriber. Warm because neither of them owned a wine fridge. Mercy was effervescent, her burgundy wig freshly styled, her laugh filling the flat the way it always did when she was in performance mode, when she was being the version of herself that rooms responded to. 180 million naira, V. She poured both glasses too full and didn't care that it frothed onto the table. Do you understand what God has done? Veronica laughed and drank and let herself be swept into it, because mercy in joy was one of the most genuinely intoxicating forces she had ever known. And because she was happy. She was happy. The deep, exhausted, disbelieving happiness of someone who has worked in the dark for a long time and finally feels the light. It was only later, washing glasses at the sink while Mercy scrolled her phone on the couch, that Veronica said, casually, "We should get a lawyer to review the term sheet before we sign anything. I'll ask around for a good commercial attorney." A beat of silence. Not long. Not long enough to be suspicious on its own. Already sorted, Mercy said, without looking up from her phone. My uncle's firm handles corporate transactions. He's looking at it. Oh. Veronica dried a glass slowly. When did you send it to him? This afternoon. But we only just got it this morning. I forwarded it quickly between meetings. You know how these things go. Early mover advantage. She said it lightly, easily, the way she said everything that was designed not to be questioned. Don't worry, he's good. He did the Chukwu Holdings restructure last year. Veronica put the glass down. Something cold moved through her small, not yet formed, more like the memory of cold than cold itself. She examined it for a moment and then made the decision that would cost her everything. She chose to trust her friend. Okay, she said. Keep me posted on what he says. Of course, Mercy said, and smiled at her phone. The lawyer's review took 9 days. During those 9 days, Veronica drafted the operational plan for the funded phase, a detailed 60-page document covering supplier scaling, a new fulfillment center in Ogba, team hiring, content expansion, and the international roadmap. She sent it to Mercy in sections as she completed each one, with voice notes explaining her thinking the way she always did, because Mercy was her partner, her co-founder, her person. Mercy responded to each section with a thumbs up, a fire emoji, and occasional one-line replies like, "This is brilliant, babe," and "You're so thorough, I can't." She did not mention that during those same 9 days, she had taken 2 more meetings with Ejire Capital. She did not mention that her uncle's firm had prepared not a review of the joint term sheet, but a revised one. A new document, a cleaner document, a document with a single founder listed. She did not mention that she had spent an afternoon in a glass-walled conference room in Victoria Island explaining to Miss Alabi and her partners that while Veronica was a valued early contributor to Ashabox, the registered business, would they like to see the CAC certificate, had always been a sole proprietorship, and that going forward, for the clarity and confidence of investors, it made sense to formalize that structure. Miss Alabi had paused at that. The woman we met, she said carefully, presented herself as co-founder. She is a very passionate team member, Mercy had said, with the warmth of someone who means the opposite. But passion and ownership are different things, as I'm sure you know. The call came on a Friday. Veronica was working from home, her silky black wig tied back with a scrunchie, laptop open, jollof rice on the stove. Her phone rang, an unknown number, Victoria Island area code. Good afternoon. May I speak with Miss Veronica Okafor? Speaking. This is Taiwo from Ejire Capital. I'm calling as a courtesy. We wanted to ensure all parties have been properly informed. We completed our final due diligence this week, and we will be proceeding with the investment into Ashabox. The agreements have been signed this morning. She opened her laptop. She went to the CAC public search portal. She typed in Ashabox Limited. The registered director's name loaded on the screen in plain, bureaucratic black text. Adeyemi Mercy Adunola. No co-director. No second name. No Veronica. The world tilted slightly. I'm sorry, Veronica said. Signed? I haven't reviewed the final documents yet. My partner said... A pause on the line. Professional. Careful. Miss Okafor, our agreement is with the registered owner of Ashabox Limited, Miss Mercy Adeyemi. The term sheet was signed by her as sole director this morning. Another pause. I understood you had been informed. I apologize if there has been a miscommunication. I would advise you to speak with Miss Adeyemi directly. Mercy came home at 7:15 that evening. Veronica heard the key in the lock, heard the familiar sound of heels on the corridor floor, heard the slight pause, barely a beat, barely anything, before the living room door opened. Mercy looked beautiful. Her burgundy wig was freshly curled at the ends. She was carrying a nylon bag from their favorite suya spot on Adeniran Ogunsanya, the one they had been going to since university. The smell of peppered meat and onions came in with her, and for a moment, Veronica thought, with a grief she had no word for, she brought suya. She came home and bought suya, like it's a normal Friday. V, I got the... Mercy stopped. Veronica was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open. Her face was very still. Her eyes were not angry yet. They were the eyes of someone standing at the edge of something, looking down. The investment closed today, Veronica said. Her voice was remarkably calm. Without... Mercy set the nylon bag down on the counter. Slowly. Precisely. V, show me the CAC certificate. Veronica turned the laptop to face her. Or don't, because I've already seen it. I want you to explain it to me. I want you to sit here and have you look at my face and explain it to me. I'm the one who built the public face. I'm the one investors see when they look at this brand. You're incredible at the back end, V. You know I believe that. But venture capital doesn't fund spreadsheets. It funds people. And when I walked into that room, they saw a CEO. I had to make a call. You had to, Veronica repeated. I'm not cutting you out. You'll be head of operations. You have a salary, a proper one, better than anything either of us is earning now. A salary. The word came out like something broken. Mercy, I built this. I built every system, every projection, every supplier relationship. I wrote the pitch deck that got you in that room. I built the thing you sold. And you'll be compensated for that work. I don't want to be compensated. I want what is mine. Mercy looked at her across the table. Her expression was not cruel. That was the part that would stay with Veronica the longest. The part that would wake her up at 3 in the morning in the years that followed. Mercy did not look like a villain. She looked like a woman who had made a calculation and was at peace with the answer. What's yours is what's registered, Mercy said quietly. I'm sorry, V. That's the reality of how these things work. Veronica left the table. She went to her room. She closed the door without slamming it. She sat on the edge of her bed and looked at the magazine on her bedside table. The lifestyle feature, the two of them in the studio, both laughing, both luminous. The burgundy wig and the black wig, side by side, like a portrait of something that no longer existed. Veronica moved out of the flat on a Sunday morning, 3 weeks after the investment closed. She did not make a scene. She packed 2 suitcases and a box of books, called a boat, and left while Mercy was at church. On the kitchen counter, she left her key and nothing else. No note, no explanation. Mercy had taken enough of her words already. She moved into a single room in a shared apartment in Surulere. Small, hot, with a ceiling fan that wobbled like it had somewhere better to be. She went back to her data analytics job during the day and worked on her new idea every night. The notebook word she had written in the dark? Imo. Knowledge. Intelligence. Insight. Where Ashabox had celebrated Nigerian women externally, what they wore, what they applied, what they unboxed, Imo would celebrate what they knew. A digital platform and subscription service built around financial literacy, investment education, and wealth building tools designed specifically for Nigerian women between 25 and 45. The exact same audience, the exact same trust she had spent a year building. Except this time, Veronica filed the CAC documents herself. She sat in the commission office and watched her name go onto that certificate with her own 2 eyes. Okafor, Veronica Nkechi, sole director. She took a photo of the screen and saved it in a folder she labeled "Never Again." She launched a wait list on Instagram 4 months after leaving the flat. She had no budget for content, no co-founder with a magnetic presence, no burgundy wig catching studio light. Just her. Silky black wig, ring light borrowed from a neighbor, a camera she paid for in 3 installments. Speaking directly and honestly to women about money, about being cheated, about starting over.
Women who had followed Asha Box recognized her immediately. Her DMs filled within 48 hours. "I always knew you were the one building it. Where have you been? We missed your energy. I'm subscribing to whatever you are doing next." The waitlist hit 2,000 in the first week. Asha Box, meanwhile, was struggling. Without Veronica's operational architecture holding it together, the fulfillment process that had worked beautifully at 3,800 subscribers began cracking under the weight of the funded expansion. Boxes shipped late, wrong products went to wrong addresses. 2 supplier relationships that Veronica had personally cultivated, built on trust and handshakes and midnight emails, quietly dissolved when the founders discovered she was no longer involved. The subscriber reviews turned. On Twitter, a thread went quietly viral. What happened to the brains behind Asha Box? Someone had dug up the original magazine feature. Someone else had noticed that Veronica had disappeared from all the brand's social media without explanation. The comments filled with the particular energy of women who feel they have been told half a story. Mercy put out a statement. Polished, warm, professional. It said nothing. The internet is rarely satisfied with nothing. The moment that changed everything arrived not with drama, but with a phone call. Miss Alabi from Ejire Capital. Veronica almost didn't answer. She was in the middle of editing a video, her black wig pinned back, jollof rice again, always on the stove. "Miss Okafor, I'll be direct with you because I respect your time." Miss Alabi's voice was exactly as Veronica remembered it. Compact, watchful, precise. "We have been monitoring what you are building. We have also been monitoring what is happening at Asha Box. I want to have a conversation." Veronica turned the stove off. "I'm listening," she said. They met at a quiet restaurant in Ikoyi the following Thursday. Miss Alabi arrived first and stood to greet her, a gesture Veronica noted and stored. The conversation lasted 90 minutes. Miss Alabi was candid. Ejire Capital had done deeper background work after the investment closed and had developed serious concerns about the founding narrative they had been sold. They were not comfortable. Their lawyers were involved. "We invested in a business we believed had 2 exceptional founders," Miss Alabi said. "We were given a different picture. We made a mistake in not verifying further." She paused. "We do not intend to make the same mistake twice." She slid a folder across the table. Veronica opened it. The number inside was larger than the one that had made her vision blur 9 months ago. She closed the folder, looked up. "I need you to understand something," Veronica said. "I am not building another box. I am building something different, something that will outlast a subscription trend. If you invest anymore, you invest in that vision, my vision, on my terms." Miss Alabi smiled. "The first genuine smile Veronica had seen from her. "Miss Okafor," she said. "That is exactly why I called you." The news moved through Lagos business circles the way all good news does, fast, embellished, and with enormous satisfaction. Ejire Capital withdraws Ashabox funding amid governance dispute. Former co-founder Veronica Okafor secures seed round for fintech platform Imo. Veronica did not celebrate publicly. She posted a single photo on Instagram. Her at her desk, black wig sharp, laptop open, a small smile with one line of caption: "Build on solid ground." It became the most saved post on her page. Mercy called once. Veronica looked at the name on the screen. The name she had known since a business strategy lecture in their second year. The name she had once associated with cheap champagne and suya on Friday nights and crying happy tears in a car over 12 boxes sold. She let it ring. Some debts cannot be paid in a phone call. Some bridges, once burned, are better left as they are. Not out of hatred, but out of hard-won clarity about what you owe the next chapter of your life. What she owed it was forward. Only forward. She put the phone face down and went back to work. Imo launched publicly 18 months later with 14,000 subscribers, a Lagos office in Lekki Phase 1, and a team of 11, 8 of whom were women. The magazine that had once photographed two friends side by side requested a new cover feature. This time, the photo was of Veronica alone. Silky black wig, structured blazer, the quiet, undefeatable expression of a woman who had been underestimated and had made excellent use of it. She kept that magazine on her bedside table, right next to the notebook.